I actually like old toys. I like just to collect them, and I thought, well, I'd buy it for my son, who is now 14, and at the time he was only 3.
Well, he was too young for it
Yes.
then. So what, did he ever play with it?
Well, yes, he has got it out once or twice, but that's...
Because it's actually in pretty good condition. Doesn't seem to have suffered too much from knocks and bangs, which is good, and you've got a lot of the sections of track there. But the best thing for me is that it's actually a very early Hornby train set.
Really?
Yes. I suppose the majority that we see on the road shows tend to be the ones from the late 1920s and the 30s, and even some produced post-war. But this is one of the very first Hornby trains ever made. It was the first...
Really?
Yes. It was the first Hornby clockwork train set. Not the first, but from the first batch. Looking at it, it's very easy to see, if you were ever a Meccano fiend, which you may have been, I was certainly, that there are very obvious nuts and bolts here, which are part of the Meccano outfit. I mean, the nuts and the bolts everybody will recognise from a normal Meccano set from that period. And of course, Frank Hornby started the Meccano business, and this was just an extension of it. And at a time when most of the toy trains that were available were tin plate and they were coming in from Germany, Frank Hornby made the conscious decision to make his trains types that could be taken to pieces, so constructional, if you like. And this particular train set dates from 1920, which is really jolly early.
Yes.
And you obviously didn't know all that, looking at the sort of shock horror on your face.
I didn't realise it at all.
Really?
No.
I hope that what I've said really hasn't led you to over-anticipate a high figure for it, because although from a historical point of view it's absolutely fascinating,
lovely,
and you know, I can go on for ages about this, that and the other, but it does have a value, I would say, of between perhaps 300 and 400 pounds, which is not considerable when you find out, for instance, that there are Hornby locomotives from the 1950s, one in particular called the Princess Elizabeth, which fetches over £1,000 just as a locomotive. So although this train set is, from a train collector's point of view, a wonderful thing and terribly important historically, it doesn't actually reflect in the value.
No, I think it's wonderful as it is.